This just in. As a small service business owner, you already know the terrifying reality of competing against giant, well-funded corporations. But what if I told you their absolute obsession with slashing budgets and firing humans is actually handing you their customers on a silver platter? According to a brilliant and deeply cynical analysis by Rory Sutherland, Vice Chairman of Ogilvy UK, most businesses today only operate in two distinct, wildly uncreative modes: aggressive cost reduction and absolute regulatory paranoia. The executives running these massive conglomerates are terrified of getting cancelled. And they are completely obsessed with spending as little money as humanly possible. As a result, they have dumped insane amounts of money into artificial intelligence. And the tech industry is now desperately trying to recoup those investments by selling AI to executives as the ultimate headcount killer. As a StoryBrand certified guide, I'm constantly warning businesses that you simply cannot automate genuine human connection. While massive corporations are busy high-fiving each other over their spreadsheet efficiency, they are blindly destroying the very human empathy that keeps their customers loyal. So let's rip apart the disaster of the Doorman Fallacy, explore why the business world's obsession with efficiency metrics is destroying the customer experience, and discuss how you can wield authentic human authority to completely obliterate your robotic competitors. By the way, if you're new here, I'm Vicky Sidler, a StoryBrand certified guide and duct tape marketing strategist from the Strategic Marketing Tribe. And I help small business owners like you build failure-proof marketing by focusing on the exact 20% of effort that drives 80% of the results. All so that your marketing stops feeling like a miserable second job you never asked for. But let's be honest. Your customers are exhausted by frustrating, generic corporate chatbots. So the fastest way to steal market share from your competitors is to prove you actually care. So stop pushing your customers into automated dead ends and establish undeniable human authority instantly with my 5-minute marketing fix. You can get it for free in the description below, or you can go to strategicmarketingtribe.com/fix. Okay, now with all of that out of the way, why is the Doorman Fallacy secretly bankrupting your biggest competitors? Well, if you want to understand exactly why your favorite brands suddenly feel cheap and awful, you just have to look at how corporate consultants justify their exorbitant fees. Sutherland perfectly describes the structural disaster as the Doorman Fallacy. It starts when a consultant walks into a luxury hotel, notices that the doorman earns a low 6-figure salary, and immediately suggests replacing him with a cheap, automatic sliding door. The consultant claims credit for the massive cost savings, takes their bonus, and vanishes. What they have conveniently ignored is that the doorman did significantly more than push a piece of glass. He hailed taxis, provided security, recognized regular customers, and elevated the status of the entire building. 5 years later, the automatic door is working perfectly. But the hotel lobby is filled with sleeping vagrants, and the most loyal guests have entirely abandoned the business. We are seeing this exact same disaster unfold with AI. Supermarkets aggressively pushed self-checkout tills to eliminate cashier salaries, only to suffer massive inventory losses when customers suddenly started checking out expensive avocados and pretending they were cheap onions. You simply cannot cut corners on human infrastructure without bleeding value everywhere else. So why does the corporate obsession with spreadsheets then ruin the customer experience? Because the most infuriating truth about modern economics is that the people running massive companies only care about numbers that are incredibly easy to count. There are broadly two ways to view a business. The Austrian School of Economics believes that value is entirely subjective, meaning that the person who sweeps the restaurant floor is creating just as much value as the chef, because they create the environment where the food can be enjoyed. But the business world is entirely dominated by the opposing Chicago school, which insists that the only valuable thing a company can do is deliver a product at the absolute lowest price possible. But why did the cheap, efficiency-obsessed model win? Because it fits beautifully on a spreadsheet. You can easily measure the cost of a worker's hourly wage, but it is incredibly difficult to rapidly quantify abstract, subjective concepts like customer trust, lifetime loyalty, and brand appreciation. Because corporate executives are addicted to quarterly reporting, they aggressively punish any marketing initiative that builds long-term human trust, prioritizing fast, cheap automation that actively annoys their buyers. So how can real human connection obliterate this algorithmic efficiency? Because while giant brands are desperately trying to hide their phone numbers and force every customer into a frustrating chatbot, they are ignoring a fundamental truth about human psychology. If you are in any kind of service business, an interaction with a real, competent human being fundamentally trumps absolutely everything else when it comes to customer satisfaction. The Royal Mail once spent a fortune attempting to improve their operational delivery metrics, only to discover that public perception of the brand was almost entirely dictated by whether or not the customer actually liked their local postman. You can run the most highly efficient AI-powered digital infrastructure on the planet, but if your customer feels like they are talking to a brick wall, they will leave. This is your ultimate strategic advantage as a small service business. We are entering an era of insane AI profusion, where automated self-service will be the miserable, mandatory baseline for every major corporation. The most radical, profitable, and disruptive thing your business can do right now is to boldly offer the exact opposite. Which brings us to why your humanity is the only thing stopping you from doing something stupid. You cannot afford to let an efficiency-obsessed tech bro or a penny-pinching finance department dictate how your customers experience your brand. When brilliant aerospace engineers built the Concorde, they successfully optimized for speed, ensuring a passenger could leave London at 9 a.m. and arrive in New York before breakfast. But because there wasn't a marketer in the room, they completely missed the human problem. The return flight forced passengers to waste an entire working day in the air, ruining the experience. Without a human-centric strategy, highly rational people will make utterly stupid decisions because they only look at the product and never at the customer. You need a clear structural foundation to protect your brand's humanity. So get my 5-minute marketing fix. This rapid diagnostic tool uses your actual human brain to craft a crystal clear StoryBrand one-liner. It gives you a standardized, reliable framework to establish genuine authority, proving to your customers that you aren't just another lazy corporation pushing AI slop, but a fiercely human guide who actually has a plan to solve their problem. Stop publishing automated garbage. Download the fix now. You can get it for free in the description below, or you can go to strategicmarketingtribe.com/fix. But what about you? What is the most disastrous corporate cost-cutting fail you've ever witnessed? I'll go first. I once saw a shuttle company fire all their drivers to use cheap third-party suppliers, only to instantly inherit all their mistakes and completely lose control of their service quality. Okay, your turn. What's the worst you've seen? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, you might like this one too. It's about why Disney just fired Marvel's artists for AI slop they can't even legally own. And this is one that YouTube thinks you might like, so check it out and see if the algorithm is right. That's it from me. I'm Vicky Sidler from the Strategic Marketing Tribe, and I post helpful news updates for small businesses every day.